Okay, Cyvis students, in this tutorial we're going to be looking at the final of what I would consider our basic Illustrator tools. And those are the eraser, scissors, and knife. And it's really important to consider what each of these does, because they're not normal erasers if you've used other art programs before. So I have here 3 rectangles, and I'm going to use the scissors, the knife, and the eraser on each one of them, and so to show you the difference. So starting with the eraser tool, you can see it has a little circle here on my cursor. And as I drag through the rectangle, you can see basically it erased everywhere I drew. And what it did is it cut this into 2 objects effectively. Now, I can't put these objects back together and have the full rectangle again because everywhere the eraser touched ceased to exist. You can, in fact, erase multiple times, and it will cut into multiple pieces. Keep in mind as well that Illustrator will clean up your curves in the same way it does with the pen tool. The second tool is the scissors tool. And basically what the scissors tool does is it cuts into the path of an object. So there I just cut, and now if I move the path, you can see it's moving part of it down. It's basically like I opened it up. If this was one continuous like rubber band, it is a cut in the rubber band. Now Illustrator still pretends that these two are connected because it's still one shape and the fill is still on. But if we look at it in outline view, you can see what it has done to this object. The last is our knife tool, and the knife tool is kind of similar to the eraser, but it cuts objects into pieces without leaving that white space left over. So you can see here this is now a separate piece from each of these. An interesting thing to consider is if you turn off your strokes on this rectangle, your outline, you won't be able to tell that it is cut into pieces when you print, but you could use that to, maybe change a different color of a piece of it while still having the same overall rectangle. So again, if we look at our outline, this is the way that the 3 different erasing tools, right, the eraser, the scissors, and the knife, work. Now what's really important though is to keep in mind that these should not be used for removing an object you don't like. So if you have an object in your artboard and you want it to go away, you should do what I just did, which is hit delete. If you instead use the eraser and try to erase the whole thing away, you usually end up with bits left over. If we look at this in outline, you can see I have these like little extra bits. Sometimes they even end up being invisible and you can only see them on outline. Basically, this object still exists and it's kind of a mess. So please remember, the eraser isn't really for removing objects, it's for erasing pieces of objects. If you just need to get rid of a rectangle, delete it.